is your editor-in-chief, Crystal Jordan, and I am here. You guys know we are still in the month of June, which means not only are we celebrating Juneteenth and, of course, Father's Day, but we're also celebrating Black Music Month, right? And you cannot have a conversation about Black Music Month without involving gospel music. Most of us, when we think about Black music, we know that gospel is a big part of that. And my guest today is one of the staples in gospel music, or praise and worship as well. He is Darwin Hobbs, Stellar Award nominated American gospel music singer and worship pastor. You all, we're going to have an amazing conversation. Please help me welcome Darwin Hobbs to Lennox and Parker.
Hello.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm good. Let me just brag on myself a little bit. I'm a Stellar Award winner, not just nominated.
You know what? Google, you know what? Google stands corrected. Stellar Award winning.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And you know what? Now, I know people sometimes don't like when people, refer to them by other people, but a lot of people have called you like the Luther Vandross of gospel.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel?
Yeah. I mean, let me tell you something. Let's see. Well, it's been way over 40 years that I've been singing and doing this. But I mean, let me tell you something. If you got to be compared to anybody, why not Luther? I take it as a huge compliment.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I got to talk to him. I didn't get to meet him. I got to talk to him over the phone years ago. And there was a show in Atlanta called Frank's Ski Morning Show. It's a radio show. And so Frank had him on like in the morning, and all my friends, I was sleeping. All my friends kept calling saying, Luther's on the radio with Frank. And they're talking about you, and Frank is playing your version of. I did this version, like a remake of "So Amazing,"
Oh, wow.
and Angie Winans, she rewrote the lyrics, and so that's when people started saying that because I did that song, and so it was of course it was reminiscent of his version, and so Frank though played the version live on the air for Luther, and then I had the little, because I was on the Frank Ski Morning Show a lot, so I had the little backstage number.
Yeah.
So I called, and Frank's then producer Tara Thomas, she answered the phone, and she put me on hold. I was like, okay, I think she's just kind of busy, so she put me on hold. But then the next voice I hear was Luther, picked up the phone. It was the craziest experience I've ever had, but he was very complimentary, and he picked up the phone and actually started singing "So Amazing."
Okay.
And he promised me that when I came to New York the next time, that he would take me to lunch, my wife and I, and show us out. But the unfortunate part is he had a stroke before I could even do it. So then of course, eventually obviously passed away. God rest his soul. But yeah, I don't mind the comparison at all. I think it's amazing. It's funny because I've been approached about doing so many projects that honor and tribute Luther. So we'll see what happens in the future. But I love it.
Yeah, well, I mean, like you said, I don't think you can, if you're going to be compared to anybody, there's no voice, I think like Luther. And I believe I haven't heard that version. We're definitely going to go get back and listen to your version. I had So Amazing when it was in my wedding. It's one of the most beautiful love songs ever.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. And I record, that was back in, let's see, that was in 2000 that I released that album.
We're going to go back and find it. But I'm believing because Luther's voice, it just makes you feel, there's something about it. And I also have heard people have compared your voice to Freddie Jackson, another person whose voice, just one of those crooners that is a signature sound. And
my goodness.
An amazing cut. But you are doing that in the gospel world. But I want to have this conversation with you today because I think Black music, we're talking about Black Music Month. I think most of our music comes from the church, right? Most of our artists, most of the soulfulness, there in our music comes from the church. But yet so many artists today, I know that you have this record label, CCC, Eminem, Music and Media. And there's so many people that don't necessarily want to be associated with the title gospel artist. There's so many gospel artists that are now looking to be called inspirational or different things. And can you explain, or in your I guess from your perspective, do you think there is a division between gospel music and what so many artists today want to be, that are making music that really like celebrates and inspires, but yet is rooted in, their faith. Is there an issue with that? Or why do you think so many of them don't want to be connected with it?
You know what? I think that more than not, and I can't speak for anybody that might have that level, that posture, or that viewpoint. Okay, but I would say that probably a great deal of gospel artists might feel that they're kind of pigeonholed, and that the music that they create is just limited to church or limited to church people. And I
Mhm.
think that probably, if I were going to say that, because when you start saying that, at first I was like, that's a different kind of train of thought. But then I can kind of just start wrapping my own brain around it. And I kind of feel like that, if
Mhm.
I'm being honest, because I feel that, let me just say this, stick my chest out proud and say gospel music is the best music to me because of what message it conveys.
Absolutely.
Okay. And let me just also say gospel music is derivative of well, I would say, sorry, most other music is derivative of gospel. And gospel is derivative, honestly, of the struggle and the lament of Black people.
Mhm.
Okay. And so a lot of that was grown, even back, our ancestors, they would comfort themselves, and they would have a level of protest through music. Okay. Just again, lament. I think that sometimes even when here in the old church, with the moanings and the groanings, oh, oh. I mean, it was like there was no words, but it was understood.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
And so there was a level of understanding even in the moaning. Okay, so gospel, it's rooted in this lament. And let me tell you, again, going back to your question, I feel that a lot of times we can get pigeonholed, and we feel like, man, like, our music is amazing, but it's just, it's only maybe embraced or only marketed to or branded for church,
Mhm.
but I mean, because I feel like I could probably identify with some people that feel that way, because me myself, I feel like my voice is suitable to, palatable to, and created for the world to hear. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? My message is inspirational, and it's gospel, and it's praise and worship,
Mhm.
but my voice is universal, just like music is universal. Then, and me, as even as a gospel artist, church worship pastor, whatever, I listen to all kinds of music.
Absolutely.
Okay. And I embrace and I enjoy, and my palette is given to and makes itself available to all kind of genres. And so I think for gospel, some people feel like, man, if I say I'm a gospel artist, I'm not going to be able to go even talk to certain radio people. I'm not going to be able to, rub shoulders and elbows and interact with. It's like it limits your community, so to speak. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? So I just feel like maybe that's why people feel like that. But I mean, again, more than not, man, I don't care who you are. You need some music that's going to encourage you, because the world we live in is worldin, as they say.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, I 100% understand that, and even have working with artists in the behind the scenes. I think some of them do feel that way, but I
Yeah,
think they're changing, and I think there are artists that, I hate to use this term, but you understand what I'm saying, that kind of crossover. I think
yeah,
those that there's so many songs of yours that people outside of the traditional church goer are familiar with, right?
yeah.
Because the message is so powerful, the voice connects across genres, and I think there are some artists that have been able to do that.
Yeah, well, let me tell you, I'm proud that I was an art. Let me tell you, one of my most popular songs is called "Every Day."
Mhm.
Okay, it's on that same album as "So Amazing." So when you go find "So Amazing," you go find "Every Day." But that was the single off of that album was "Every Day." But it's a song I did with Michael McDonald.
Yes.
Okay, and he ain't nowhere near singing gospel. No, and he kind of did the, what is the song? He said, "Yah will be there." He's my God will be there. But man, and also Donna Summer, God rest her soul, she was on that same album with me.
Mhm.
Okay, but because again, in Nashville, I was a session singer, and man, I lived there for 5 years almost. I sang on over 700 sessions as a background singer. Okay, so but I didn't just sing in the gospel genre. I had friends in all genres, which is how Michael McDonald ended up on my album.
Mhm.
Okay, so I think that still happens. People collaborate
Right.
and do things with all different folks, and I think that's a good way for gospel artists and people of different genres to kind of rub shoulders and create community. Maybe we need a bit more of that. But man, that was a great question, and that's a very legitimate reality.
It is, but I think that's why we wanted to have this conversation with you. I
Yes.
want to talk about, because I think what you are doing at CCC is so, because it's bigger than the church. The message is bigger than just it extends beyond the walls of the church, right?
Absolutely,
And I think
absolutely.
even this new project is probably going to be, I believe that what you all are doing is going to be embraced by people that really need it. You know what I mean? Not necessarily just gospel fans,
Yes,
but just people that need inspiration, people that need
yes,
something that touches their soul, people that need,
yes.
a word,
No, no, absolutely. And our our main, I would say main leader, I guess we got two leaders now. Well, Pastor A.R. Bernard is the founder of CCC, okay, Christian Cultural Center. And I say CCC Global now because we got campuses in multiple cities. Okay, so it's more global. It's Brooklyn, it's Long Island, it's Richmond, it's Atlanta and Orlando. Okay, so but Pastor Bernard is no stranger to being communal. Okay. So, I mean, yes, he's a Christian, but he also is very active very connected to a world stage, a global stage. Okay. So for us to be connected to him and be derivative, or not derivative, but be an extension of him, our music has to speak the same. And so yes, our music is gospel. Yes, the message, the title of the album is breaking news. Okay. So, but this news per se is not just for church folks. It's not just for, I mean, it'd be like saying CNN is only for people who don't profess a faith. I mean, it's like there's all kind of people that watch CNN and Fox and MSNBC and BT, whatever. Okay, so that's the same thing with our music. It's breaking news. It's for everybody. Okay, it's a universal language because it's music, but it's also a universal message because we want to purport this message of good news to anybody who's willing to lend their ear to it.
Amen. Amen. I love it. Well, we're talking about this with Christian Cultural Center and Music and Media. I want to add Kim Harley to this conversation. On this, we got us. Hey, Kim.
Hey there. How are you doing?
Welcome.
Hi, welcome.
Welcome. We are talking about Black Music Month, right? And in relation, as I was mentioning to Darwin, I don't think you can have a real conversation about Black Music Month without gospel being a big piece of that conversation, just because that is where I think the roots of our music come from. And I really believe, as Darwin said, our music is the root of all music. It comes from that soul, the feeling there. And so I want to bring you up, and I want to make sure that people know a little bit about your background. But I do not have my notes in front of me. So
let me talk about her. Let me talk about her.
Please, you can introduce Kim to the audience.
Let me tell you something. First of all, Kim Harley is one of my favorite human beings. Okay, so, but let me tell you about Kim. First of all, at CCC Global and even connected to CCC Collective, our album, Kim is the director, her fancy title. She's the director of all choral activities. Okay. So over the choir, whether it's adults or kids or whatever, Kim is also a very, very sought after vocal trainer. Okay. Vocal coach there in NYC in New York. But Kim to me she's a very quiet storm. Her voice is humongous. I tell her all the time, it reminds me of Alito Adams, her tone, but quite the singer, quite the vocal trainer, quite the choir director. So she really, really helped to whip us into shape for the album that we're talking about, which is CCC Collective, but Breaking News. But I could talk about Kim all day, so I'll let y'all get to know each other.
Thank you so much.
I think he did a great job.
Yeah, he did an amazing job. Amazing.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for joining us in this conversation. I was telling a friend of mine at EPI, I definitely wanted to have this because of what we're talking about with Black music, but there's also like a social media conversation always happening about the church and where does the church fit into breaking news, you know, for lack of a better word. So I want to ask you, I know that Darwin here is over praise and worship and has been, we know him as a leader of praise and worship, but I'm wondering from your perspective, what is the difference between, or is there a difference between a gospel music artist and someone who is actually leading praise and worship? Is there a different motivation there? Is there a different definition of how that comes into play? Because for me, it's just someone that goes to church and enjoys music. When I'm at church and I'm enjoying praise and worship, sometimes it may not, it is very soul rousing, but it may sound very different than just a gospel record. It feels like it has much more soul and depth to it. But that could, you know, I'm not a professional. I'm just someone that knows what I hear. So I'd love for you all to kind of explain, is there a difference between praise and worship or just a gospel record, you know, just a gospel song?
Wow. Well, when I think of praise and worship, I definitely think of it more congregational,
Mm-hmm.
more community, more with others. You're singing together,
Mm-hmm.
and with gospel music, you can either listen to it, you can sing it as a solo, you can sing it, you have those
Yes.
options there. But
Yes.
praise and worship, y'all in it together.
Yeah.
we rocking, we going for it. And it's also used as, front lines. It's the top, used as top of the service.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
like we're Levites. We're going for battle. Like we on the
Yes.
front lines. And so we open up the service. Send Judah first. That's the word.
Absolutely.
And so it's like, so it's a number, it has a number of its meaning is you have more than just that one meaning, or more than, it's used for more than one thing than just to be a song to uplift. We're going forth, we're uplifting, we're encouraging, we're casting out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, did we lose Kim?
We did for a second. I'm sure she'll be back. But
Let me tell you,
That
yeah.
was
it
me.
was so good. We're sorry we lost you for a second, Kim,
Mm-hmm.
but
I'm so sorry. It's my husband calling me.
that's all good.
I'm
That's
sorry. I'm sorry. I don't know why he.
yeah.
That's
Let
what
me tell
happens.
you. Can I chime in though?
Please do, please.
Can
So
you
let me
all
tell
still
you.
hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, okay. Now I
So
can't hear y'all. Sorry.
I will say that I love what Kim said. Praise and worship, I would say, is almost kind of more congregational, more corporate, more again for community. This is in a practical sense. I'm saying if I'm in church and I'm listening, and praise and worship to me is the moment of drawing everybody in together. That's
Right.
why the song I just recorded this album called Setlist, and it shameless plug.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it comes out on Friday, Juneteenth. Okay, but shameless plug. But praise and worship. My album's called Setlist because those songs are geared towards, and they're tools that create this wall of sound, meaning that everybody can sing it together. It's corporate, it's congregational. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And it is gospel. Okay, so but if we're talking just again in a practical way, and then just stylistically, okay, but a lot of times you can kind of gospel music in a different style of how can I say? There's maybe urban contemporary gospel, there's praise and worship, there's hip hop gospel, whatever. Some of those songs again, I might just might be for my listening pleasure. You can maybe even with gospel, you can kind of maybe stretch the envelope a little bit more and have more creative liberty because you're not so concerned about people being able to catch on to it, people being able to know the words. You know what I'm saying? You don't care about there being a learning curve because if I'm listening to a groove, I don't really care to sing along. I'm just listening for my listening pleasure.
Right.
It's encouraging. But praise and worship, if you're doing it correctly or most effectively, I should say, then this is music that people can grasp and they can grab onto and run with it as if even if it's their first time hearing it. Before 2 minutes, they're already singing and joining in.
I love that. I love that. Can I ask you, just as someone who leads praise and worship, how do you? How is there? It sounds like that's something that would move on feeling, right? And how the congregation. How how does that work for you when you're leading praise and worship? And are you in tune with the entire congregation? Are you in tune with just the choir? How does that? Because I mean that is, as Kim said, the front line, the beginning. A lot of times that's probably for a lot of us the favorite part of service. A lot of times
Yes.
is
Yes.
that is praise and worship. I grew up at Higher Dimensions in Tulsa, Oklahoma with
Woo!
Charles Pearson, and I cannot tell you how much I will always cherish those praise and worship sessions that we would.
Oh my! And you're talking about now. You may almost made me shed a little tear there because Bishop Pearson was one of my favorite folks, but I will tell you that, and some of those albums that he released, that Higher Dimension released earlier, those are albums that helped train me in the area of praise and worship. Okay, and they set an example, they set the bar. Okay, especially for corporate singing. And you asked me kind of like, what is that zone or what is that? Let me tell you, as a worship leader, I feel like I would be being giving a disservice to the people that I'm serving if I were to just stand up and just sing songs that I felt were just apropos to me, or so you really kind of can't do that. It's like I'm kind of tuned in when I'm making a set list, no pun intended. I'm wanting to choose songs not just that are my on my top 10 list, but songs that would translate well with a bunch of people, the corporate body, you know what I'm saying? And I do that by, honestly, in a practical sense, you can tell when the song works and when it doesn't. We try things out, and when the audience grabs onto it and starts singing, and it creates that wall of sound. I'm like, this is a good one to add to our repertoire. We're gonna keep doing this one because it pulls everybody in. And there are other times when you sing songs and it's too wordy, or the learning curve is so steep that people don't sing. They're just standing there reading the screen because they can't gather, And those songs, like the songs we have, honestly, on CCC Collective, these are corporate worship songs. These are songs everybody can join in and sing without fail. Okay, and the way that me personally, and I know Kim feels this way as well. This is going to sound real churchy and real deep, but we're kind of tapped in to maybe what we feel is a frequency of heaven. You know what I'm saying? And so it's a vertical connection that translates horizontally. You know what I'm saying? So we're listening to God, and just we're in prayer, and we're like, Lord, what is it that we should sing? And then we put those songs to the list. We present them to the body, to the church, to the congregation, and then it's a great fluid kind of thing. It's vertical to horizontal. I'm tapped in. I'm like following God, like, Lord, what should I? And sometimes in the midst of even praise and worship, it's a left turn because Holy Spirit's like, hey, I know you plan to sing Yes, Jesus Loves Him, but I need you to sing Break Every Chain right here, because and so you got to be tapped in spiritually, and then horizontally, practically, you pick songs that work.
Yeah. Kim, can you give us an example of one of your favorites, a song, a praise and worship song that has that ability to just connect, that you all, maybe something that's on this new project that you can share with us, just something that brings, that his example just brings to mind, a song that example brings to mind.
You will always be holy. You
Right.
will always be worthy of my praise. Worthy of
Worthy of-
my, yes. You will
Yeah.
always be, and it declares that regardless of what's going on, God will always be holy. He will always be in the good and the bad. When things are in turmoil, He's a holy God. And you will always be everything I need. Everything I need. And it's right there. That's enough said.
It's enough said.
So that's one of the favorite, actually sang it
And
on
then wait a minute.
Sunday.
And here's what's funny. Remember, that song she's singing. Remember earlier before Kim got on, and I was Kim. I was telling her how it's kind of steeped in and founded in gospel was lament, from years ago,
Mm,
ancestors, and how that lament and that wail that comes, out of, in gospel. So even that song that Kim is singing, after it says that part about you will always be holy, and then it goes to this thing where the whole audience just it's just O's. There's no lyrics. Oh,
Yeah.
oh, 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 worthy. So that's a perfect example. Oh, that's a good question, Chris. It's a perfect example of lyrics and just lament, or just this that pulls everybody in together, man. Man, I'm sorry I could ramble about that, but that's a good
No,
question.
that's good because that's because you can see people will be in tears. The
Yes.
may be simple, but it connects with their soul and their spirit, and
Hmm.
it's what they need, And I think that's why there are people. I was right with my son and my mom earlier. My son said, "How can Grandma only listen to gospel music all the time?" And it's because of that. That it can restore your soul. Um,
Absolutely.
I got to ask you, Darwin, because I know you took a break for a while, right? And you
Yes.
came back. Was that time for you personally, and was there a pullback to this? Because this is obviously your purpose. This is obviously
Sure.
one of the things that you are here for.
Yeah.
During that time when you were away, did you miss this, and did you miss the corporate part of it? Because I'm sure you were still singing, but actually being in the lime in the light that you're in now, did you miss that?
Well, and here's the thing. So that's another amazing question. I took a 15-year hiatus from artistry.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Did not take a break from, because it's so funny because I've been at CCC just at like 13 to 15 years. And so I'm a local church guy, and that's my first passion. My first love is leading worship and hanging out with the creatives at the local church level. Okay. Now I've been an artist for 28 years. Okay. So, but I did take a hiatus because now I'm gonna tell you, I'm a transparent, keep it 100 kind of person. So I might say some stuff that might ruffle some feathers with some people. They may not know, but it is what it is.
mm-hmm,
I was sick of and tired of industry, okay, because I felt like it was going somewhere that wasn't, it just wasn't conducive for what it is I felt like I was supposed to be doing. So
mm-hmm,
I had to really kind of get myself together and just kind of recalibrate and figure out if it was really still a community of folks and an industry that I still wanted to be a part of. Okay. And so for 15 years, I got out of it because I was like, yeah, no, that's not for me, because I just felt like the trajectory of it started going down a path that to me, I'm like, that ain't my focus. It's more industry driven than it is ministry. And this is because this is what I don't just say it. I mean it. I'm in it for ministry. I didn't want to be a singer. I wanted to be a journalist. I want to do what you're doing. That was my dream, was to be a journalist. Okay. Either in print journalism or in broadcast. And so for me to be a singer, I mean what I say. I do it because it's the call on my life. And so when I took that break, when I came off the break here recently and recorded this new album set list, I did it specifically as a tool for people like Kim and myself who lead worship. I wanted to record 10 songs that we're talking about, songs that work corporately, praise and worship songs and that's why I did it. Okay. And that's why I came off of the hiatus when I got clarity. Okay. Clarity, vertical clarity and horizontal clarity. Okay. I got clarity from God. Yes, this is what you're called to do. And I got horizontal confirmation and partnership with people that are like, people still want to hear you sing, Darwin. People still want your music, because I felt like if I'm going to release it, it's got to, be successful. Somebody's got to want to sing it. And where I find the success and where, thank God, now that I've been releasing new music, it's very successful. You know why? Because of what we're talking about. The consumers and the people sitting in the churches every Sunday, they love it and they're singing it because it's accessible. Okay. So I had to be focused. I don't know that I'm so much going to be recording in a vein where it's just easy listening anymore in my life. I did that for a season, but here now, my focus is local church. My focus is songs like that are on my album. It's songs like that are on CCC Collective Global album. It's praise and work for me. Okay. It ain't nothing against nobody that's doing anything else. And there are some other things, like I said, that even with, again, the whole Luther Vandross, uh the comparison and all that, there's other projects, and I can't say nothing about them right now. I wish I could,
Mhm.
but there's other projects that I will do and use my voice to do and enjoy and be creative and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I took the break because I just needed to focus and make sure it was something I still was supposed to do. I got the answer, and so I recorded again.
We're happy that you did it. And I will just say to you that I love what you do, and I am a journalist because I do not have a voice like that. It would have been a waste to have a journalist with a voice like that. But yeah.
I got this idea. I'll say it here. I don't care because somebody, if they do it, then great. But they heard it here first. This is my copyright for my idea. No, but it's kind of like this show. It's nothing's new under the sun. You know that show that's like life swap and people go and they kind of. So I got this idea of having a job swap, career swap show.
Wow.
So maybe you can come lead worship and I can go do what you do. And then we have
Unless Kim is going to really help me out. My voice.
Let's go.
I mean, Kim is going to have to really coach something out of me, but
and she can do it.
Can I add something? I wanted before I went to school to study for music, I was going to go to school to be a librarian.
Wow.
So yes.
Right.
Well, it's intellectual. It's art.
Isn't that something?
It's art, because I've worked with a lot of musicians and songwriters, and I feel like when I write, it is my version of art. But it definitely, it definitely would help if I had some vocals to be able to back it up. I could hear it in a song. But that is an amazing gift. I want to ask you both something, because, like I said, there's a constant social media conversation that I see. Just about what is, people are very judgmental. A lot of church people are very judgmental. I can say that as someone that's on this side. I've seen a lot of judgmental often comes from people that are in the church. From both of your perspective, is there a mantra? Is there a responsibility that is different from the average person on the shoulders of someone that is a worship leader, someone that does sing or and preach, but most importantly, I would say that leads praise and worship? Is there a different responsibility as far as how they present and how they live their life, where their spiritual journey is? Do you feel like that is a fair assumption when people assume that there's a deeper responsibility, maybe more they heavy is the head that wears that crown because of what the expectations are, and maybe because of them being connected, having that connection. Do you both of you, I would love to hear that perspective. Do you think there's a deeper sense of responsibility because of that? People are looking to you to kind of lead that connection that they often have when they're involved in praise and worship.
I mean, I can start, Kim, if you want. I can start.
Go.
Yeah, I feel that you hear me use the word practical all the time, because I feel like anything that's not practical is not God anyway. But I mean, a lot of times, even in our pursuit of our faith, walking out our faith, I think at times we can be a little bit impractical, where we just feel like everything's going to come up roses because we love Jesus and we're walking with Jesus. And that's a lie that we've purported for years. And we set the bar there, though, that, if you walk with Jesus, even as we appeal to people to give their lives to God, it's sometimes, not everybody, but at times, historically, we've sold this bill of goods to people like, you're going to have this utopian experience. You're going to have let me tell you something. I got issues just like everybody else. I got, woes just like everybody else. I battle anxiety and rejection just like a lot of other people, okay? And I love Jesus, okay? And I'm in a committed relationship with Jesus, but that does not cancel me. It doesn't make me, exempt from life, okay? And so now I will also couple with that. I do believe, as the Bible says, to whom much is given, much is required. And I believe that even in a practical sense, again, I got stuff that I can't do, drink, I can't just hang out late nights. If I got to sing on Sunday morning, in a practical sense, Kim is a vocal coach. I got to get a lot of sleep. I got to drink and stay hydrated and drink a lot. Other people, they can dry their voices out. They can eat all kind of, stuff and stay up till 4 o'clock in the morning. So yeah, there is a point that my life does kind of, it requires something different, I would say, not even necessarily more elevated, but it just requires me to live in a certain way so that I'm equipped and to do what it is I do. That's in a practical sense. And even spiritually, we talked about earlier how I kind of keep myself in a posture of just hearing clearly spiritually, because then that way I'm going to know how to navigate, a corporate setting. Because again, if I don't listen like that, then everybody's just going to be a victim to whatever Darwin wants to do, whatever he wants to sing and whatever. Because there's times when I got to get up, sing corporately. I don't feel like it. Man, I don't care. I don't feel like it. I'm not feeling it. I might have had an argument with my wife, whatever. It could be any number of things. But the call of my life is to get up and do what I'm supposed to do. I got a song on my album called I Command My Soul to Bless the Lord. It's like you don't always feel like it, but I command my soul to do it because that's what I'm called to do. That's my responsibility to do it. Okay, Kim, what would you say?
I love that.
Well, yes, that was an amazing answer, and I got lost in it. I was like, "What was the question again?" But I was raised Pentecostal. Okay,
Mm.
I was raised with no pants,
Me too.
no, yes, no, nothing, none of. I
I
saw
had to
my
let, I
first
had to let that
movie.
go. I had to. I
Yeah,
had,
listen. I did my son. Well, my mother actually gave me the release, and she asked me, "Did I has the Lord convicted my heart to follow that?" And I said, "Uh." So she said this was when I was entering into high school. But that was heavy, growing up around my friends, and because the way I dressed and the way my life was like that without me even opening my mouth. It led that. If I did something, it was like, you do that? Don't you go to church? Uh-oh, don't let sister so-and-so see. Don't let your mother. And this was adults
yeah.
as well as children, my friends. So that was heavy on me without me even asking for it. Um, and it almost took me out. Almost took me away from the church. It not almost, it did for about 7 years. I
Wow.
didn't step foot into a church.
Wow.
And it I had to come to that understanding
Yeah.
and acceptance that it's my relationship with Christ. It's my heart. Because it was heavy. It
Yeah.
was heavy. It was that you couldn't
Yeah.
do, not to say, I mean, I'm not going coming up against what it was, because it kept me out of a lot of situations, and if you know what I know, it
I do.
kept
I
me
do.
away from a lot.
I appreciate you being honest about that because I have a
Yes.
Mm,
similar experience, and I also think it keeps a lot of people. First of all, there are a lot of people that didn't come back, that had what we experienced that did not come back because it
mhm,
might have been a stronger, 7 year. It might have been like, I still am not ready to come back. But
mhm,
I think conversations like this are necessary so that other
right.
people know that it is heavy for everyone. It is not just heavy for them.
Yes.
It is heavy, even if you didn't want it. You might not have wanted to do a lot, but just the fact that there was the expectation, and I think that keeps so many people from God. It keeps so many people from
Hmm.
the message because they feel like they are not able to do that. What would you say, Kim, was your greatest lesson in that? I like how you said it was really about your relationship, but how were you able to come back to God and embrace the church to the point where you are, a part of this, project, but still not lose
I
yourself?
lost you. I lost you.
Can you hear
I
me?
heard embrace the church.
Okay, so
Uh-oh.
just how were you able to come to this point? Can you hear me now? Uh-oh. I think. Can you hear me?
Still connected.
Can you hear me? Can you still hear me or not? You may need to go out and
Just
come
whenever it
back
was
in.
getting good too. I mean, it was always good, but
Yeah, you might probably need to go
bringing it
out and
into
come
that.
back. Try to go out and come back. We'll edit this. But it was really, Kim, you can go out and come back now.
You got me still?
Yes, I have you. Yeah, I have you.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I'm sorry. Somebody, I'm trying to like learn my phone so that I have it on silent, but I want to make it so that nobody can even call in. And it's just,
Do not disturb. You got to learn do not disturb.
yeah. Well, let me tell you, I have it on just 1 second because now you're teaching me. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So now you have given me my tutorial and I have now put on do not disturb.
Now we got to get Kim back.
Right.
Okay. Can you hear us? I don't think she.
Can you hear Kim?
You got to click out and come back. I don't know if I can kick her out.
I love kick her out. I love
if I can kick her out and bring her back. Okay, let's try that. That was so good, though. I'm so honored that she shared that because.
Listen, first of all, I've been friends with Kim for 15 years and I'd never heard that story. I didn't know that part of her life. So I was so glad to hear that.
Wow. That's a lot of people struggling with that.
Absolutely.
Uh-huh.
She left the church. Wow.
But I wonder because, like I said, there's the expectations that people put on people doing this, are so
Yes.
outrageous. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, I'm back.
Okay, we're back. We're all back. We're all
Yeah.
back.
Awesome.
Okay. So what I was saying, first of all, I again want to thank you for sharing that because I appreciate your candor. There's so many people these are the type of conversations that heal people, that help, that allow them to see themselves and people that they probably would never imagine struggle with something like that. So my question to you is, what was your biggest lesson and how do you deal with things now? Because there's still expectations from other people, right? In the position that you are now with this, with working on this project and, in the limelight with that. But how do you navigate your relationship with God and then what you allow, what do you allow from others and what do you to have for yourself to where you are not dealing with, pressure from the outside that has nothing to do with what your calling is?
Right. I'm not so hard. I try not to be so hard on myself.
Yeah.
I try to be real, like live in, realistic, practical, like when Pastor, the way he preaches is living life from God's point of view, living a practical life, using the words, but using it according to your life and being real with yourself,
Right.
being transparent. Because it was unrealistic. It really was. So it's more like, Kim, you're gonna make mistakes. Like you're gonna like listen, I wanted to yes, this guy just cut me off and I'm gonna cut him off too. I'm coming back, I'm spinning the block, and and being real and saying, like this is me. All right, Lord, you made me like this. So just being very real with myself and saying this is me and sharing that with others. Because I'm very private. I'm very and there's a reason why there are certain things I went through and understanding that I went through those things to be a test for my life, to be a testimony to others.
Wow.
Amen.
So yeah,
I love
that's
that.
how I get through it every day.
And we have to, I think I learned that my mom gave me a card after I was an adult that said, make mistakes. And I remember I started crying because I just, growing up Pentecostal, I never felt that there was the ability to make mistakes, especially when you want it that way, right? So it's like, I'm trying to do the right thing. I don't think there's an opportunity for me not to be perfect, Crystal. And now I don't even want to be that. Like I don't want to be that. I want to be able to live. So I love the fact that we're having a conversation about how we can serve God, serve Him, and serve others, and be human.
Yes.
And
absolutely
be used for His glory without perfection, because that's not a reality. It's not practical. I have kept you guys for a long time, but so I want to talk about this album coming out. I want to talk about Set List is going to be out on Juneteenth, which is this coming Friday. I want people to know where they can get the album and how they can connect and get more involved with what you guys have going on. So I'll let you start, Darwin, and Kim fill us in on your perspective as well.
Yeah, I mean, so I got like again, I feel what's the word I want to use? Duplicitous or whatever. I got such cool roles because I mean I'm the global worship pastor at CCC, at Christian Cultural Center, and that's my family, and I'm very much involved in singing and featured on the CCC Collective album. Okay, and I'm so proud of it, and it was produced by Israel Houghton, and so there's Israel, there's myself, there's Kim is on the album. There's Kelvin King, who actually is Kim's brother. He's leading a song on there called In Control. There's a young lady named Jossie, Chandler Moore. So there's lots of us that are involved with this record. It's so good. And again, it's more of the same of what we've been discussing, which is praise and worship. But it's just got a real good, I don't know. The title is befitting because it's breaking news, because the album is full of the good news of Jesus, obviously, and one of my favorite songs is "Something's About to Break." You know, it's got a groove to it, but I mean, it's kind of a proclamation of, you know, what people have been waiting for, what they've been praying for. You know, it's here right now. You know, the Bible says hope deferred makes the heart weary. And so many times in church over the years, we've all concentrated and been so focused on everything that's coming and what God's gonna do and yada, yada. But I mean, the real message and the real thing is that, God's really done it. It's here right now. In real time, we're experiencing miracles and signs and wonders. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm so excited about that album. And thank you for, again, mentioning Set List, because that's the first album I've recorded in 15 years. And that comes out this Friday, Juneteenth. And so excited about that. Again, Set List. That's why I call it Set List, because as a worship leader, people like me and Kim are one of the most difficult times of the week. Yeah. Is coming up with a set list, because you want songs that will work. You want songs that will speak to people's heart. You want songs that will bless the Lord. You want songs that are easy to sing. You know, so I recorded a bunch of songs last year in Atlanta live that speak to that, because I felt like that was one of the things that was missing in our exchange, or in our, how can I say, industry, in the landscape, you know, just an album full of songs that they're singable. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I'm excited about that. People can get that on any streaming platform, you know, any digital streaming platform, and they can get CCC Collective's album same way, all the streaming platforms. CCC Collective has a YouTube page, and so do I. So yeah, man, I'm kind of like existing in both, but it's all family to me. So I'm so excited. And Kim, she can talk about the album herself, but I'm excited about it.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, Darwin, he has said it all. One thing I can say is to look at, to have been there in the beginning stages when they were writing, like when they were penning it, the first lyrics, and to see what it has become now is just amazing. Yeah. So yeah, just happy to be a part.
Well, we definitely will be checking that out. CCC Collective, breaking news. We love that, because that's what we are always here. My job is a big part of breaking news. And maybe, Darwin, when you get your TV concept up, I would definitely love to come and work with Kim and give you these headlines to deal.
That's right.
I'm gonna tell you something, Crystal. Don't play. I'm telling you right now. I got to write some kind of treatment and then let some people help me, you know, kind of. But I got one friend that works for the network that she's like, Darwin, that's genius. You got to. So we'll see. Now, Crystal, Kim, you heard it here.
Yes, that's right.
As long as Kim can help me. As long as Kim can help me.
That's right. Let's go. Let's go. We can do it.
I'm laughing already because I can imagine the footage. I mean, and the behind the scenes and everything. But no, I'm telling you, if you got any smidgen of ability in you, Kim Harley vocals y'all look her up. She can bring it out of you.
Yes, let's go.
I believe it. Well, I want to definitely encourage people to check out those projects, and also we are going to check out the original. Well, the I guess the spin from Luther Vandross, So Amazing. We're going to get So Amazing from Darwin Hobbs and have that as a piece of this. Thank you both so much for
Thank you.
this time with us today here at Lennox and Parker. And happy Juneteenth week.
Happy Juneteenth.
Yes.
Happy Juneteenth
Happy
week, and most
Juneteenth. That's
importantly, happy
right.
Black Music Month. And thank you both for your contributions to
Amen.
Thank
it
you.
is Black Music.
Thank you.
All right, thank you guys.
Bless you. Thank you so much for having us.
All right. Well, I enjoyed that so much. I hope you guys enjoyed that interview. Definitely make sure you pick up a copy of Breaking News by CCC Collective and, of course, Set List by Darwin Hobbs. You can find out more about those projects on lennoxandparker.com, as well as going to their sites as well. This has been an amazing interview. Thank you guys for hanging out with me here on Lennox and Parker. I'll be back with more, as always, more from Black intellectuals, Black entrepreneurs, Black entertainment. It's all here on Lennox and Parker. We love you guys, and until next time.